work an event, I always learn something.
It takes time, it takes experience.
Find your niche.
We need you, and I think you will find it very rewarding.
Get out there, start trying to do it, and see if you like it.
New balls, please. At Dunlop, we've been making tennis balls for over 100 years. Balls played at more tournaments globally than any other brand. Officially endorsed by the ATP Tour. Performance runs through our DNA. Dunlop, the #1 ball on tour.
I've always loved the game of tennis.
Everyone's a big family here.
It's about camaraderie because it's family.
I consider my tennis family part of my overall family.
That's what I like about it most, the friendships you develop.
I look so forward to coming to these events and seeing my friends that I've made through the years.
If you love the game, give back to the game.
You become the calm in the storm.
You can decide how much you want to work and how much you don't want to work.
You never stop learning.
Every time I work an event, I always learn something.
It takes time, it takes experience.
Find your niche.
We need you, and I think you will find it very rewarding.
Get out there, start trying to do it, and see if you like it.
New balls, please. At Dunlop, we've been making tennis balls for over 100 years. Balls played at more tournaments globally than any other brand. Officially endorsed by the ATP Tour. Performance runs through our DNA. Dunlop, the #1 ball on tour.
I've always loved the game of tennis.
Everyone's a big family here.
It's about camaraderie because it's family.
I consider my tennis family part of my overall family.
That's what I like about it most. The friendships you develop.
I look so forward to coming to these events and seeing my friends that I've made through the years.
If you love the game, give back to the game.
You become the calm in the storm.
You can decide how much you want to work and how much you don't want to work.
You never stop learning.
Every time I work an event, I always learn something.
It takes time, it takes experience.
Find your niche.
We need you, and I think you will find it very rewarding.
Get out there, start trying to do it, and see if you like it.
New balls, please. At Dunlop, we've been making tennis balls for over 100 years. Balls played at more tournaments globally than any other brand. Officially endorsed by the ATP Tour. Performance runs through our DNA. Dunlop, the #1 ball on tour.
I've always loved the game of tennis.
Everyone's a big family here.
It's about camaraderie because it's family.
I consider my tennis family part of my overall family.
That's what I like about it most. The friendships you develop.
I look so forward to coming to these events and seeing my friends that I've made through the years.
If you love the game, give back to the game.
You become the calm in the storm.
You can decide how much you want to work and how much you don't want to work.
You never stop learning.
Every time I work an event, I always learn something.
It takes time, it takes experience.
Find your niche.
We need you, and I think you will find it very rewarding.
Get out there, start trying to do it, and see if you like it.
New balls, please. At Dunlop, we've been making tennis balls for over 100 years. Balls played at more tournaments globally than any other brand. Officially endorsed by the ATP Tour. Performance runs through our DNA. Dunlop, the #1 ball on tour.
I've always loved the game of tennis.
Everyone's a big family here.
It's about camaraderie because it's family.
I consider my tennis family part of my overall family.
That's what I like about it most. The friendships you develop.
I look so forward to coming to these events and seeing my friends that I've made through the years.
If you love the game, give back to the game.
You become the calm in the storm.
You can decide how much you want to work and how much you don't want to work.
You never stop learning.
Every time I work an event, I always learn something.
It takes time, it takes experience.
Find your niche.
We need you, and I think you will find it very rewarding.
Get out there, start trying to do it, and see if you like it.
Welcome back, college tennis. A new year and a new look to the fall season. A clean slate for student athletes to write their names into the history book. Rising stars and known veterans all swing towards the goal of perfection. Their chance at greatness begins now. Where legends are made, where champions are crowned, it's the ITA All-American Championships. Tulsa and Cary await. College tennis fans, we'll see you soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to our afternoon session of the ITA All-American Championships 2024 edition featured match. The men's featured match this afternoon. Near court, Oliver Tarvet, University of San Diego. And your far court, Miguel Perez Pena from the University of Georgia. Tarvet, one of the top seeds in the tournament. We take a look here at the ITA rankings used to seed this tournament, hence also the seeds here. If they were here, Ozalan's not here, so Anthrop, I believe, was the 8 seed, but Oliver Tarvet coming in as the number 3 seed and the 3rd ranked player in the ITA rankings. It's been absolute carnage so far in the men's draw, as top seeded Ozan Barish lost his first match yesterday, also lost his first consolation draw match today. He is out of the tournament. Other of our top 8 seeds to lose yesterday were Radu Papaway, the 6 seed, Gavin Young, the 7 seed, Jack Anthrop, the 8 seed. From that list, Shinsuke Mitsui also lost. And then already today, Cooper Williams dropping a decision to Samir Banerjee, so he is out. So the only remaining top 8 seeds are Zhang, Tarvet, and Smith. Everybody else is out. Flip over and show the path to the NCAA individuals while the players warm up. The All-American Championships this year, the first step and possible way to get entry into the NCAA individual tournament. The past years, it has been ranking that has been used to get you in. The 2-year pilot program moving individuals to the fall, ranking's been eliminated, no longer a component. The only way to get into the NCAA tournament is to win your way in, and this is the path. 10 singles spots given up here at the All-Americans. Those are the 8 quarterfinalists plus the 2 finalists in the consolation feed-in draw. If you don't make it here, you move to your region. There are 13 regions. The 2 finalists from each region will make up 26 qualifiers. The ITA Conference Masters, tough tournament to get into. 1 invitation given to the top singles player and top doubles team in each conference. The top 4, being the 4 semifinalists there, get it. That brings us to 40. And the final 24, there are 4 sections. If you did not make it through All-Americans or through regionals, Masters and sectionals are at the same time. If you didn't make it through either one of those, then you go to your sectional championship if you get an invite to that. And 6 players from each section. Those are the 4 semifinalists. And then a much anticipated playoff between the losing quarterfinalists for the final 2 spots. So 6 spots in each of the 4 sections given up at sectionals. That makes your 64. Back to the screen here as you see players taking their final service warm-ups. Tarvet, the junior, for San Diego, coming in here certainly as the favorite. Not that that's meant anything so far at this All-American Championship. Put up a pretty gaudy 26-6 record at the top spot last year, 14-3 in dual matches, every single one of those at the number 1 spot for the Toreros. Miguel Perez Pena for Georgia. Be a senior this year. Had an up and down year last year. 23-17 overall, 10-11 in dual matches, and he saw action all over the place. Most of it at the 4 spot. This match being played on court 2 here in Tulsa, so maybe our first chance. It's definitely our first chance. Not sure we'll get to hear any of it, but it is one of the 4 courts being used in Tulsa for the pilot of the new electronic line calling system. The ITA piloting this on 4 courts, courts 1 through 4. At Tulsa this year. You see them getting a ball back. There's actually discussion over whether that's actually their ball, maybe. But courts 1 through 4 have the electronic line calling system. The players still make their own calls, but if the electronic line calling system thinks a ball was in that was called out by a player, it will overrule them. and this year only one overrule before penalties seems to have greatly curbed some of the generous out calls. Good return from Pena there. Spoken to some of the coaches, and they've stated that it seems to be already a little better as players that have gotten their first overrule in the first couple games are now afraid to call anything after that because the second one is a point penalty. Backhand error on the volley there. From Tarvet. You see there, Tarvet calling that ball out. Clearly must have been confirmed by the electronic line calling system, or it would have been an overrule. We'll watch for that to see if we see any of those electronic overrules. But 30 all. Early misses here. From Tarvet, bringing up a break point from Miguel Perez Pena. Good deep ball on the baseline from Tarvet, forcing that error. So our first deciding point, no deuce points in college. Get to 40 all, it's a deciding point. Receiver chooses the side. Pena taking this on the ad court. Oh, great serve wide. From Tarvet, you see him a little pumped first game. Talk about how these players got here. Tarvet obviously seeded. He direct into the main draw. Routine win over Sinov Cornell yesterday. Miguel Perez Pena, a much longer path. He had to come through the qualifying draw. Scored straight set wins over Manfredi Graziani of Penn and Maxi Hamburg of Pepperdine before a 3-set battle with Charles-Lee Cosnay from the University of Kentucky. 6-4 in the third. That was an absolute battle. And then yesterday, Perez Pena with a fairly sizable upset over Colo Monsi of Oklahoma. 7-6 in the third. That a tightly contested match. 6-7, 6-4, 7-6 for Pena. So a lot of tennis and a couple long 3-setters here in the last 2 days for him. We'll see how those legs hold up today. See the applause from Pena. Good shot there from Tarvet. Had Pena sort of cheating and pinned over into that backhand corner. This match has all the looks of a long one if it stays tight. And nobody runs away with it. Pena with 2 long matches already in the last 2 days in his legs. Probably not ideal for him. On the flip side, he's got considerable more time on these courts than Tarvet does. He's had to play 4 matches, or 3 matches already, excuse me, 2 in the qualifying draw, 1 yesterday. 3 days in a row for him. Tarvet just getting 1 match yesterday, and that a 1-2 quick match. It's a nice forehand down the line there. A little bit of an inside out. Beautiful. See on the draws posted by the ITA for this All-American Championship, the world tennis number associated with each player. Induced a miss there from Target, does Pena. And you can see how much of an underdog based off that. Pena is here. Oliver Tarvet, a 3-2. Lower numbers better in the WTN system. Miguel Perez Pena, an 8. Significant difference between them. It's a good setup from Tarvet there. That 8.0 rating, world tennis number for Pena, the 5th lowest in the main draw. So for him already a win under his belt. Is big, the lowest. Oddly enough, Matthew Forbes. Matt Forbes from Michigan State. Kalamazoo winner this year, got to play at the U.S. Open. Opening round upset over The 9-16 seed in Shinsuke Mitsui. Scoreboard wrong here. Pena does not lead 2-love. See if they get that corrected for us. A little late on that forehand. They do get it corrected. It's 1-all. Couple of holds to start. During our changeovers, we'll take a look at other scores if you're interested, but if you're also interested in seeing any of those matches, catch Alex Grustin hosting the cross-court cast on our other YouTube channel. If you want to stick with a featured match, stay here. I'll keep you updated on other scores around the grounds at Tulsa. Thought I heard Pena call that second serve out for a double fault. I believe the chair said 15-all.
Lamos, Michigan State, Wright, North Carolina, report to the tournament desk. Lamos, Michigan State, Wright, North Carolina, report to the tournament desk.
See the game plan likely for Tarvet here. Pena putting a little more pace behind those forehands, so he's gonna go with a few balls to the backhand side and then back to the forehand, see if he can catch him off time. Pena not likely to be the one to win the long rallies in this match, so he's going to look to do something with that forehand. Good wide serve from Tarvet there. Couple good deep balls from Pena keep Tarvet back. 40-30, but Pena's going to have a lot of work to do to mix things up, keep Tarvet out of rhythm, and take his chances with that forehand, especially effective with that inside-out forehand. Tarvet dropped that towel a little farther into the court than I would think he'd want to. that inside-out forehand we were just talking about from Pena. Very effective for him. A very heavy forehand. And there you see Tarvet kicks that towel back a little. I thought maybe he did it on purpose. There's a mental note to push forward and stay on the baseline, but going to face another deciding point. 2 games in a row deciding points here. Last one in the ad court. Pena takes this one in the deuce court, looking for a different result. Just wide. And there it is, a break for Miguel Perez Pena. He put Tarvet in a tough spot there. Tarvet trying to hit the ball into his backhand corner, and Pena ran around what felt like 3 or 4 of those in a row to hit inside-out forehands. The last one, very clean, that stretched Tarvet wide, induced the short ball. Pena comes in and goes inside in for the winner and the break. So an early break advantage for Miguel Perez Pena here. Take a look around the grounds at current scores. Theo Dean and Louis Maxted. Dean yesterday, Yale transfer to Cal, the big upset winner of the day, knocking off top-seeded Ozan Barish. Also taking place right now in the main draw. All of these matches with the exception of the Miyoshi Kazne match. That a consolation match. Everything else a main draw match. A little early on, Sheldon and Aiden Kim, the furthest along. Aiden Kim, the transfer from Florida to Ohio State this year. Max Sheldon, one of the players who came, one of the 3 players that made the main draw, coming all the way from pre-qualifying. Quite the run. For Max Sheldon. Winner there, the 3 players that had made it from pre-qualies all the way to the main draw. That was 5 wins, 3 in pre-qualies, 2 in qualies. Marko Milutinovic of Baylor, Max Sheldon of Michigan State, Max Smith for Clemson. think there might have been a fourth that I missed. Anthony Wright, who got a lucky loser spot out of pre-qualies and qualies.
Now, Baton Horse Baylor for the tournament desk. Overbet.
Looks like he also got a lucky loser spot out of
Baylor
qualies into the main draw. So that made 4. You see Pena's coming out firing. Another big forehand there. Definitely the game plan for him. I think they know he doesn't want to get caught in that 9+ rally ground stroke game with Tarvet here. And he has come out, especially on that forehand side, hitting out. Winner down the line. Miguel Perez Pena coming out firing. We look at this one, the serve. Return the +1 down the line winner. Pena consolidates that break. Takes a 3-1 lead here in the first. You see Tarvet trying to get himself pumped up here. The prohibitive favorite. Yes, it's early, but I don't think we saw Pena jumping out to the quick 3-1 lead like he has here. Tarvet not wanting to let that get away. Good serve. You see Tarvet even talking to the teammates. But come on, boys, after that one. A little exaggerated, trying to get himself into this one mentally right here. Errant return from Pena, and it's 40 love. Only 3 of the top 8 seeds left, Tarvet being one of them. Colton Smith, Michael Zhang, the other 2. They both won today and are into the round of 16. Come on! Solid game there from Oliver Tarvet. Holds it, love. Makes it 2-3. Miguel Perez Pena still with a break lead. Another quick look at the scores. Here in Tulsa, again, that Miyoshi Kazne match, a backdraw match, everything else. A main draw match. We've also got some scores from Cary where the women are playing. If you're looking for coverage on any of those matches, again, tune in to Alex Gruskin on the Cross Court Cast as he's covering both Cary and Tulsa. First ball to last, so he's on for a long day. Singles, doubles, he's got it all. you saw Pena sort of give a set. He looked at the chair, I think then realized it's not really the chair, it's the electronic line calling system that would overrule, and gave a second look back just to make sure there wasn't an overrule coming. And there wasn't, so it indeed is left 15. Interesting season coming for Pena and his teammates. Now a love 30 lead for Tarvet, still trying to incite himself to get going. But Georgia this year, under the first year under new head coach Jamie Hunt, been there a long time as the associate head coach, but the retirement, well-deserved retirement of legendary coach Manny Diaz for the Bulldogs this past season. That went off the tape and missed. Coach Diaz done so many things for the college game and for the University of Georgia. NCAA's held there for so long prior to the change to moving around in Athens that was. But we wish Coach Diaz the best. I'm sure we will still see him around. Still see him active in the tennis Twitter world for sure. Forehand maybe even caught Tarvet a little off guard. He's gone so much to that inside-out forehand from that corner. He pulls that one inside in down the line, right deep in the corner. Tarvet unable to get it, and you saw the scream. It's a little bit of a gamesmanship game going on between these two right now, as Tarvet had been getting loud to get himself going, and you saw Pena. The scream back after getting to 30 all here, almost a little retaliatory outburst. That ball wide. And I feel like we're going to watch a little bit of the game within the game, as these two trading vocal outbursts after points. See Pena looking that direction at the fist bump. Not that there's any disrespect between the two. I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's just a case of both of them trying to get a leg up in the mental battle over the other person. So it's going to be a deciding point here for Pena now at 3-2. Pena sends that one long. Tarvet gets the break back. So the early break lead from Pena, now midway through the set, erased by Ali Tarvet. Gets us to 3 all, so we'll reset, play a set to 3 now. Good serve from Tarvet into inside, a little bit on the body, on the backhand side to Pena, unable to get a clean racket on it. Again, Pena with the aggression on the forehand side. You can see Tarvet trying to put the ball back into that corner, but Pena's going to run around as many as he can. It's generating more pace, a much heavier ball coming back to Tarvet off the forehand wing. Also opens himself up to leaving that forehand side of the court wide open if he misses by the slightest and gives Tarvet a good look. Point there from Pena. You saw even with Tarvet peppering that backhand corner, he hit a great backhand down the line. So 15-30, Tarvet hasn't really had, other than the one service game, some much ease on his service games early on here. Pena finding a little success going into that forehand corner of Tarvet's when he's catching him a little, either with good pace or just catching him off the wrong foot to the point where Tarvet really has to slice or punch it back or even get the squash slice on it. Coming up short on most of them so far. And now some break points for Pena. And there it is. Along with the loud scream from Miguel Perez Pena. It's another break. So Tarvet gets the break to get back on serve. Pena breaks right back to go up 4-3. See a little ad on the World Tennis number there. We talked about some of those numbers and what they mean before. Weather so far here in Tulsa cooperating, but it sounds like a carry. They may be about to head indoors for the women. Last I had looked in Tulsa, Friday appeared to be the day with the most likely forecast for rain. Apologize on the little video freeze there. Pena gets the first point on his 4-3 service game now. Called wide. It did actually look wide here, and indeed confirmed by the chair, aka the electronic line calling system. If nothing else, it eliminates even the human judgment from the chair, which I think the players will appreciate. Those who've been around tennis long enough have seen their share of calls they don't think. Oh, deep in a double fault. And Pena now 15-40 again to give the break back. See Tarvet getting a little pep talk. Head coach Ryan Keckley, assistant coach Alex Funkhauser for the Toreros. Great point. Oh, and there's a winner down the line. There it is, that backhand down the line for Tarvet, giving him the break back, leveling us once again at 4-all. So 2 breaks apiece. In this first set, we're all square now. Tarvet back serving at 4-all. Good backhand down the line of his own from Miguel Perez Pena to start this 9th game off. Start talking about the length of these sets. One of the things to note this year, the balls being used. All the ITA sponsored events using Dunlop balls this year. So All-Americans using these Dunlops. I've heard from many of the players and coaches that let there. I've heard from the players and coaches on the Dunlop balls that they fuzz up much quicker than the other balls, the Wilson balls that they've used. And so these long sets like this, it gets progressively harder and harder to hit the winners. The balls sit up more. Can't quite hear what Tarvet's saying there, but I think he's not fond of the let call. I don't think the ball rolled, in his mind, over far enough to warrant calling a let. Nevertheless, they'll replay the point, love 15. Oh, what a point. Point of the match so far. Ends in an unforced error from Tarvet. But that had everything. Long rally. Overhead. Lob. Ball chased down. Starting the point over again after Tarvet got that lob back. See both players there maybe getting a little extra walk around, get their wind back. It's a long rally. That one misses from Pena. A big point for Tarvet, now 15-30, but 4-all, and we've seen half the service games have been breaks so far, and Tarvet not exactly in an enviable spot here at 15-30, but does not want to give Pena the chance to serve for a set. See, Mary Stoyana, top seed in the women's draw, dropped her first set. Sheldon, one of the men who had come from pre-qualifying all the way through, earns a set to send his match to a third with Ohio State's Aiden Kim. You see Pena asking, "Are you sure?" Target asking for the other ball. Gosh, if they've been over the 2 seed in a 3-set battle now, something Stoyana's going to have to do to come through as well. 30-all for Target. A little too much over the top of that forehand from Pena, and from love 30, it's now 40-30 for Tarvet. Big game at 4-all. Tarvet and his San Diego Toreros. Could be an interesting spot for them this year. A team, I think, they were a battling for top 16 hosting seed type team last year. They have a legit shot, I think, to be a top 10 team this year. Second serve look for Pena now. Pena now starting to miss on those forehands. Can't shy away. That's his game plan. If he goes back to the rally ball off the forehand instead of hitting out on that ball, he's going to do as much damage as just missing. Just has to find it again. It's the right play, just not executing at the moment. Tarvet holds for 5-4. Another look here. These matches give you a little update on some completed matches. One of the ones that disappeared off that board, Martin Katz from Miami knocks off Peter Mock. Mock yesterday upsetting Gavin Young, the 7 seed. Sebastian Gorsny transferring over to Texas from TCU knocks off Zambor Veltz of Baylor 4-3. J.C. Roddick 3-set win over Alexander Bernard. Colton Smith wins. Jay Friend wins over Rudy Kwan. Samir Banerjee knocks off Cooper Williams. Michael Zhang knocks off DK Suresh. And Pedro Vives 6-2 in the third over Ryan Colby of Georgia, teammate here of Miguel Perez Pena. Those are the completed matches in the main draw on the men's side so far. So Pena now to serve. 4 breaks so far this first set, but we're on serve at 4-5. And that's his game right there. Short ball, inside out, forehand winner. He'll take that serve +1 on the short ball all day if he can get it. Oh, little touch volley. Gets to go over. I think you got to feel a little lucky on that one because it was actually the swinging volley that wasn't executed particularly well. He got the short swinging volley, but he put it right back at Tarvet. And back in a spot that Tarvet had a really good look at it. Nevertheless, he does make the volley, so 30 love. Perez Pena, I think those the misses you want are the misses when you're hitting out. You're going for your shot. Just getting deep. And there it is again. That inside-in forehand that draws that forehand slice squash type shot. Out of Tarvet, he's hit almost all of those into the net. Doesn't have that one quite measured yet. And really a guess for him because he knows Pena likes that inside-out forehand, so when he goes inside in, he's not anticipating it, not getting quick enough to that spot. Again, another one of those long misses. That's a good miss if there is such a thing. He's not tentative. He's hitting the ball he wants to hit, just missing it a little long. Still 40-30 now. Still 2 chances to force this one to 5-all for Pena. Yet again, good hold for Pena. We've talked about this inside-in forehand for him that draws the squash shot. Here it is, down the line. Tarvet, that's as close as Tarvet's come to measuring that ball and getting it up over the net. Many of them have been halfway down the net. That hit the bottom of the tape, but Tarvet's still unable to get those back. And it's a hold for Pena, so 5-all now. Miguel Perez Pena hanging very tight with our 3 seed here. A little too much on that one, Pena. Giving it a look like, oh, I had it. I had the right play. I had the shot. Just put too much on that lob. You can hear the screams coming from the nearby courts now. Haven't had that in a while, since early when these two traded vocal jabs with each other. It's been pretty quiet verbally since. Target with an unforced error off the backhand. I would surmise, though, if any of these games from this point on now at 5-all in the first, if we have a tight game, we'll start to hear these guys again. There you see a ball from Tarvet. That backhand down the line for him. Working well here, right here. Just too good. And he's got Miguel Perez Pena cheating into that backhand corner because he wants to run around and hit that forehand. So that backhand down the line, very effective, catching him on the run in the stretch, unable to get it back. And there you hear it. First outburst from Tarvet in a bit. Good serve down the tee. Pena couldn't really get a good racket on it. More of a slap. Leads to 40-15 for Tarvet here at 5-all. Forced error off the forehand for Tarvet, 40-30. Still a couple points for him to make this a 6-5 lead. Talked about the prospects for that San Diego team. Bunch of experienced players on that roster now this year. Very junior and senior heavy. Tarvet juniors, got fellow juniors. Lambert, Rulin, Stein, Klassen, Neil Niedner. Along with seniors. Danilov and Eero Vasa. Pena misses the backhand, unforced error. And it's a hold. For Tarvet. He'll take a 6-5 lead, force Pena to try to serve and hold to send this one to a breaker.
At Dunlop, we've been making tennis balls for over 100 years. Balls played at more tournaments globally than any other brand. Officially endorsed by the ATP Tour. Performance runs through our DNA. Dunlop, the #1 ball on tour.
Those Dunlop balls, the aforementioned balls we are playing with here in Tulsa, as well as carry in all the ITA sponsored events this year. That holds true for the ITA sponsored events. Conferences, however, can have their own ball choice, if you will. I believe the Big Ten and the SEC that I know of are going to be playing with Wilson balls during their conference seasons. Obviously, the ITA events, I'll have to go to Dunlops. I think the NCAAs are back to Wilsons. Sounds minor, but if you talk to the players, it's actually a pretty significant and more than anything annoying change to them, switching balls back and forth. But here's Pena at 5-6.
Opposed, Duke. Opposed, Cornell, reports return to desk. Opposed, Duke. Opposed, Cornell, reports return to desk.
Again, Pena with the forehand long. That seems to be the place that Tarvet's able to get him to miss. But it's definitely a double-edged sword, as it's the wing that Pena's going to dictate, hit more winners and do more dictating from. Also going to be more errors.
Dietrich, Virginia, Pang, Stanford, report to turn to desk.
Another miss. That one a little uncharacteristic. Had a good look at that. Backpedaling a little, but it was that inside-out forehand that Pena really likes. Now love 30 and a little hole here for Pena at 5-6. Before his second serve, now chasing that down. And it's another sprayed forehand for Pena, so the forehand misses starting to add up. I think Tarvet feels like he's found his spot there. A little inconsistent at the moment, and that's all he needs is a miss every now and then. Now we've got 4 breakpoint set points for Ollie Tarvet. Didn't get the generous roll over the tape on the first one. Nets that backhand, and Perez Pena fights off the first of what could potentially be 4 break points. Set points as well. The inconsistency off the forehand, though, makes me think Tarvet's just going to make Pena hit balls here. There it is. It's a first set for Oliver Tarvet. And he did just that. Nothing special. Didn't go for anything big. He just made Pena hit balls. And eventually draws the miss from the University of Georgia senior Miguel Perez Pena. So the early break lead that Pena actually held twice is erased. Oliver Tarvet, 7-5 in the first. So we'll head to a commercial and check the scores around the grounds here. Get a look at the matches still going. Jonah Braswell and Matthew Forbes on court now. Braswell, a retirement winner after dropping the first set yesterday. Forbes with a nice upset win. Landau and Jansen look like they're about to go 3. I feel like a few of those scores have been the same for a bit. They might be delayed, but Aiden Kim now starting to take advantage on Max Sheldon, up a break in the third. Check in here. Set break. You can see Miguel Perez Pena still there. I don't see Oliver Tarvet. May have taken a restroom break. I'm not sure. We'll get a look at the, as we wait, we'll look at the scores over in Cary right now. See Sarah Hamlin, Bianca Fernandez deep in a third. Charney on the verge of a double bagel, although Noel points to get on the board there. Vidmanova now in a third. In her match, she's the 2 seed. Mary Stoyanov, the top seed. You see, dropped the first set. And now 2-all in the second. Check back in. Looks like Tarvet still MIA. Good spot to show some of the other men's rankings, which popped up the men's singles rankings earlier, showing Tarvet as the number 3 ranked player coming into the season this year. Look at the doubles rankings for the men. Peter Jovanovic, Benito Sanchez Martinez of Mississippi State come in as the number 1 ranked team. Perez Pena's teammates here. Ratu and Blades holding down the 2 spot. And it's an all-SEC top 3 with Julio Perego and Togon Tokac in the 3 spot. And then the ITA also puts out a newcomer ranking list every year. These the top newcomers ordered by WTN, if you will. Antoine Gabato for University of Kentucky, number 1 on that list. A couple names that jump out at you, though. Coming in at number 5, Rafa Jodar for Virginia, the U.S. Open Juniors winner. Kalen Bagoon at 9 for UCLA, the French Open Juniors winner. So a lot of resume in that list there. Looks like Tarvet's back. Ready to get this second set underway now. I think an important start to this second set here. Pena started out so well, but the consistency disappeared, mostly on the forehand side, but even some backhand errors. It's the kind of set that could just get away from him if he's not careful here with Tarvet. Tarvet thought that was an ace. Looked at the chair. Chair confirms the ball was out. Pena unable to get that return back though, so 30 love quickly here. For Tarvet, the change of guard here for Tarvet makes him look a little taller than the 6 foot he's listed at. Heard a big roar from another court. I'm guessing that may have been Sam Landau from Duke as he's earned a split with Will Jansen. North Carolina transfer now at Ohio State. They've traded 6-3 sets and are headed to a third. That, or it was Max Sheldon who's gotten the break back. He's now on serve with another Ohio State player, Aiden Kim, 4-3 in the third. Tarvet sends that backhand long. Those two matches, the only 3 setters we've got going now here. Both main draw matches. Pena just seems like he's lost a little of that rhythm he had early in the first that he's going to need to get back. Just wide, and it's a hold to start the second set for Oliver Tarvet. You gotta think Pena has to keep firing like that, though. He's not gonna win those 9+ rally ground games with Tarvet. On the whole, sure, he's going to win his share of points, but that's not where he's going to win this match. He's got to keep firing with those forehands. Very successful All-American Championships for Perez Pena, regardless of the outcome of this match. For him to make it through qualifying, very mixed season last year. Mentioned basically around a 500 player at the 4 spot in singles for the Bulldogs. So to make a run here at All-Americans like this, very promising sign for him. But everything seems to just be getting away from him a little. The misses that we said were good misses long are just becoming far too frequent at this point. It's a big slice serve down the tee. Looks like it landed right on the line. He'll take a few of those free points for sure. And there's the forehand. Not the forehand he's dictating with. That one was on the defensive, but still tremendous forehand down the line for him. 30-15. Mentioned Jamie Hunt taking over this year. Bryce Warren, now the associate head coach, along with Coach Hunt. Already the assistant coach, 3-coach staff for the Bulldogs. Over anxious, and he knew it. Got there, had plenty of time. Not even sure if he made that volley. It was going in. He might have pulled it wide. He just got too eager. Coach Warren there.
Sure. NC State, report to the tournament desk. Sure. NC State.
You can hear him still calling players for their singles matches to check in. That's a beautiful inside in forehand for Pena. Right there for the winner, down the line, inside in. Gives him a couple game points. What feels like some must-holds here. He can't afford to go down a break early to Tarvet, who came back from a breakdown twice in the first. That's a great volley. Back-to-back beautiful plays from Pena. See him, he gets that inside-out forehand he likes. He comes in. Tough volley right in the belly button. Gets the racket on it, makes beautiful contact. Earns the hold, the 1-all first set, or second set now. First set of service games for each in the second. That may have been a yell from Aiden Kim. Aiden Kim knocks off Max Sheldon, 6-3 in the third in the main draw. So one of the Ohio State players through. Will Jansen still out there with Sam Landau. Now Pena's firing again. Whether he's hitting or not, that's the game, and he's gotta keep firing with those. For the moment, he's fought through his inconsistencies, and he's back to hitting some winners with that inside-out forehand. Not quite able to measure that serve, return just long. Double fault for Tarvet, giving a 15-30 chance to Pena here. And that's it. That's the game right there for Pena. He went inside out forehand, approach, and put the volley away. Not as easy to execute that as it sounds. But when he does it, it's very effective. And now Pena's earned himself a trio of break points. Floated that one back to Tarvet for an easy put away. We haven't seen Tarvet in at the net a lot, but that volley looked good. That towel again looks like he left it a little too far in the court for my preference. See if he tosses it back. He does. Still a couple break points here for Pena, 30-40. Now a second serve look. I think Tarvet's going to try to go wide here. Pena's going to try to run around and go inside out forehand regardless. There it is again. That inside-in forehand down the line. Catching Tarvet. Cheating, because he knows that inside-out's coming. He goes down the line, and Tarvet just can't find that forehand slice to get it back. So Pena, much like he did in the first set, gets an early break for a 2-1 lead. This is an exact repeat of what we did in set one. A couple holds and then a Pena break. Pena was able to consolidate that in the first set for 3-1. Before Tarvet got the break back. We'll see what happens here. Pena's done exactly what we said he needed to do, and that was not go down an early break. In fact, he gets up the early break here in the second. Tarvet now going to have to do what he did in the first, and that is come from a break down. Good depth there from Tarvet. Followed up with a nice short wide backhand. Pena just couldn't get clean contact on it.
Florida State, Weeks, Kentucky. Report to court 5. Craig, Florida State, Weeks, Kentucky, court 5.
Heard that match being called out. Weeks and Craig. Talk about that in a sec. Tarvet, but that Craig Weeks match as a second-round main draw match is quite the opportunity for one of those players. Right now it's an opportunity for both of them. But Jaden Weeks, one of the players that came all the way through pre-qualifying, won 3 matches there, won 2 matches in qualifying, won his first match yesterday, so 6 wins in 5 days for him. And Corey Craig, newcomer for Florida State, came through the qualifying. So 2 players that weren't direct entries finding themselves playing each other for a spot in the round of 16 at All-Americans. Oh, yeah. Pena hit straight down on that volley, and it just sat up for Tarvet. Couldn't have made it any easier, and you saw him look up. He knew exactly what he did. In addition to that battle between Craig and Weeks, being a couple guys that came through pre-qualies and qualies, an interesting battle of the lefties.
Vanderbilt, Martinez, Duke, report to court 10.
Corey Craig, a guy that'll stay out there all day. He's happy to play a 3-hour match with Seminole. Weeks will probably force something a little earlier. That ball deep from Tarvet. Pena gets back to 30 all here. Going to try to do what he did in the first and consolidate his break for 3-1. Tried to go big down the tee there. Not sure Pena knew exactly what he wanted to do with that. I think he's a little surprised to get a forehand just sitting up for him. Kind of slapped it right into the net, so now Tarvet's going to have a couple chances to get the break right back. 30-40 here. And he pulls it wide. Tarvet lets out a roar as he breaks right back. Short-lived break advantage for Miguel Perez Pena in the second set. Tarvet levels it at 2 apiece. And is happy to let Pena know about it. That might have been a little bit of gamesmanship from Tarvet there prior to that point. Saw the ball well off the court, but he took his time to walk over and dispatch of it. Probably let Pena think about that break a little longer. It's only 2 all on serve here in the second. But again, and it's the reason Tarvet gets vocal, you just sort of feel like he feels like he's got the momentum, got the break back. Very animated and vocal now. See him point over to the coaching staff or something, probably they told him. I like what he did there, though. He gave Pena one ball for the inside-out forehand, and instead of going back again to let Pena try to measure a couple of those in a row, he went down the line and forced Pena to move and hit a forehand out of the forehand corner. I think a much better play than continuing to let him hit multiple inside-out forehands in a row. That's a good serve. Ace for Tarvet out wide. He holds after getting the break to get back on serve. It's 3-2 now. Take a look around. You can see doubles now starting to get on. Auburn's Billy Blades, Will Nolan. Billy Blades, the brother of Perez Pena's teammate Freddie Blades, part of the number 2, I believe it was, ranked doubles team, along with Niels Retju. Landau and Jansen battling it out now. 2-all in the third. Both transfers this year. Again, Landau going from Indiana to Duke. Jansen going from North Carolina to Ohio State. So a couple transfer portal lands for those teams. And that Louis Maxted Theo Dean score has been stuck at 7-6 for a long time, so I have a feeling that's not accurate. See if we can get an update on that one. Oh, great wheels from Tarvet. I think Pena had the right idea. He had to cover line. And that was just too good from Tarvet. This time the Tarvet outburst directed towards himself. Not happy with that backhand in the net. Another miss from Tarvet, another little voice of displeasure. I think he feels like he's on the verge of being able to close this one out. He's getting the better, or was getting the better of the rallies. One more break could send him on his way. Hear the wake-up calls there. Tarvet gonna get a little talk from coach here. Three all now, and it felt like, I certainly felt it, and I think that felt it vicariously through Tarvet there. He felt like he was just taking over on the verge of being able to finish this, and just played a poor game there. Didn't even give himself a chance to break. Gonna have to forget that now. 3 all on his serve. Lob wide from Pena. Tarvet missing the backhand there. Immediately groaning. You just feel like, almost like he's a little too eager. Like there's a sense of urgency that he needs to finish this because he's got the chance. I think he'd be well served to just settle down, have a little patience here. He's still getting the better of the rallies if he calms down. See Perez Pena's former teammates in the chat. EQ, Ethan Quinn, Blake Kreuter there. Yeah, I see you guys. Tarvet's throwing in some unforced, for sure. And that's, but those are my comments that I think he's just trying to force. He's too eager to try to finish this out and causing him to miss his own balls. I think it's just a misguided sense of urgency on his part. He's up a set. There's no sense in trying to rush closing this out. Play his game. Great shot there from Pena. And he's going to earn himself a couple break points. Thanks, guys. I finally caught up to the chat, and as I catch up to the chat, I see EQ prompting me to check my texts. Thanks, EQ. Tell Gruskin he's glad to give you my number so you can text me directly. Nevertheless, a big deciding point now here. Big opportunity for Pena. Unable to get that return down. Tarvet not going to give him a serve into that forehand. Tarvet holds for 4-3. During that changeover, we'll get a quick look around. Will Jansen, the Ohio State transfer in from North Carolina, now 5-2 in the third, so a break advantage for him. That's a main draw match. Matt Forbes, Jonah Braswell, a main draw. Forbes, a 6-1 first set. Kalamazoo 18's winner this year. And Weeks and Craig now another main draw match underway. Jaden Weeks with the early break. First set. For those of you watching along on the YouTube channel here, and all the comments and the former dogs. Certainly can't repeat everything everyone says, Mr. Kreuter, but I appreciate all the help. EQ, Ethan Quinn doing very well on his own on tour now. Good forehand there from Pena. Part of the reason for what we would tend to call a little bit of a rebuilding year last year for the Bulldogs. Nothing they could do about it. The success for EQ, Ethan Quinn that is. And it just made sense for him to turn pro along with Alex Mickelson, who never came because of his success, nor Boosie. So the three of them that were all planning on being there didn't come, left Georgia in a little late state, looking to fill a roster out. Those guys all having great success on tour now. Mickelson weekly at the ATP level. EQ going to be there soon, I'm sure. Faring very well. Challenger level. See Tarvet just missing that return long again. Just looks over anxious to me. Pena taking advantage. That's a nice cross-court backhand winner from Tarvet for 30 all. Absolutely. To EQ's point, it was excellent recruiting by Jamie Hunt. One of the best in the business, in the recruiting biz, is Jamie Hunt. Tarvet definitely didn't call it out. He gave the good symbol to the chair just to ask for confirmation, but he called it good, so it didn't really matter. It was good since he didn't call it out. He wanted confirmation from the electronic line call. But that volley did indeed catch the baseline, so it's a couple game points. There was that inside-out forehand that Pena fared so well with. Just caught the tape, though. So he's going to find himself in a deciding point at 3-4. Feels like a pretty big point for him here. Do not want to let Tarvet have a chance to serve for the match. Tarvet going to take this in the ad court. Oh, beautiful volley. Miguel Perez Pena, wonderful point. Catch that replay. He gets that forehand down the line, comes in and puts the backhand volley. A little bit of an overhead backhand volley away. Grabs the hold for 4 all. Thanks for tuning in, Blake. Blake Croydon back to work. again, I think it's an okay miss to me if you're Miguel Perez Pena. Can't let up, hit out. If you miss long, it's okay. Couldn't find on that return. Couldn't tell if that one caught the tape or not. Again, they play lets in college. Makes it very tough on the returner if you do manage to catch the tape and it goes in. 30 love here for Tarvet. Well, there's an unforced error from Tarvet. Yeah, if you missed my talk earlier, EQ, as Tolliver puts that, Tolliver, it's a new name for Ali Tarvet. Tarvet puts that overhead away for 40-15. All the ITA events this year, he's been playing with the Dunlop balls. So All-Americans, presumably indoors. Not sure if that'll hold for kickoff weekend. Don't know if that'll classify, but the ITA sponsored events playing with the Dunlop balls. NCAAs will play with Wilson, and your favorite conference, of course, the SEC, is also playing with Wilson. So it'll be a little bit of back and forth for the players this year. At least for the players whose conferences or schools are electing to play with the Wilson balls. Unforced air return there from Pena on the backhand into the net. It's a hold for Tarvet, so on serve at 5-4. Pena will serve to stay in this set. Definitely interested to hear, by all means, Ethan, since you're playing with those Dunlop balls on tour, feel free to comment in here for us. Love to hear your take on that situation. I can see that you said going to be arm injuries, but what I've heard from players and coaches so far on the Dunlop balls is that they fuzz up quicker. And as the sets wear on here in college, it's going to get tougher. Obviously, you're changing every 9 games on tour. Here, yes, it's still just a ball change at the end of each set. And so I've heard from some of the guys that like to play a quicker pace, that ball tends to sit up more late in the set and gets tougher and tougher to put things away. So your big hitters, which I think will make it very interesting indoors. But the big hitters, I think, probably not so much a fan. The grinders may be more of a fan. Not sure, but welcome your comments. You're the one playing with those at a level that most of us can only dream about. But Pena now, 4-5, serving to stay in the match here. Forced error again for Tarvet off the backhand long. almost making me laugh audibly on air here, commenting on those Dunlop. Got the electronic line calling, so that'll get confirmed electronically, but Tarvet was calling that ball wide before it even landed. Again, this court has electronic line calling on it for those that may have joined late. Courts 1 through 4 at Tulsa, the pilot electronic line calling system. Players still make their own calls, but if they call a ball out and the electronic line calling sees it's in, an overrule will be issued. Another unforced error there on the Tarvet backhand. Really forced by himself as he was going for a down-the-line winner. But wasn't even close. That one probably mid-net. Oh, that one won't go over for Pena. So it'll be 30 all. And for those that didn't hear earlier on that electronic line calling, you don't even really need to challenge. Obviously, the players still do. If they're questioning a call, they're going to look over at the chair and make sure that the chair is checking that electronic line calling device. But you don't need to ask for it, theoretically. The chair has the chance to look at every call. They won't overturn one from midpoint. It can only be the last. So you'd have to stop the point if you think the ball is out. But if it is, you know, a winner, for example, they will check. Oh, that was exactly the ball Pena wanted. He got the semi-short set up for that inside-out forehand that he was going to follow behind. And it just caught the tape with enough pace that it jumped out on him.
Muncie, Oklahoma.
Now a couple break point match points here for Tarvet on the Pena serve at 30-40. Oh, Tarvet called it wide. He's definitely looking for confirmation on this one. It looked good. Oh, and it was chair confirms the ball was out. Ah, the backhand into the net. Unforced error for Pena, and Oliver Tarvet gets the break. Gets the match. 7-5, 6-4. Very tough fought battle between these two. Pena, nothing to hang his head over here. A great tournament for him. Making it through from the qualies into the main draw, running a win yesterday. But Oliver Tarvet, the 3 seed now. He and Michael Zhang and Colton Smith, the remaining seeds of the top 8 seeds left in the main draw. We'll be doing this again tomorrow. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Featured match of the day, ITA 2024 All-American Championships. We'll be back tomorrow with a women's featured match of the day and another men's featured match of the day. We're into the round of 16 where tomorrow's winners now earn their right into the NCAA individual tournament. So big matches coming your way tomorrow. All the winners receive entry into the NCAA individual singles tournament here. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow.
I've always loved the game of tennis.
Everyone's a big family here.
It's about camaraderie because it's family.
I consider my tennis family part of my overall family.
That's what I like about it most. The friendships you develop.
I look so forward to coming to these events and seeing my friends that I've made through the years.
If you love the game, give back to the game.
You become the calm in the storm.
You can decide how much you want to work and how much you don't want to work.
You never stop learning.
Every time I work an event, I always learn something.
It takes time, it takes experience.
Find your niche.
We need you, and I think you will find it very rewarding.
Get out there, start trying to do it, and see if you like it.
New balls, please. At Dunlop, we've been making tennis balls for over 100 years. Balls played at more tournaments globally than any other brand. Officially endorsed by the ATP Tour. Performance runs through our DNA. Dunlop, the #1 ball on tour.
I've always loved the game of tennis.
Everyone's a big family here.
It's about camaraderie because it's family.
I consider